I'm pretty sure many of us were expecting at some point or another for this to happen when it comes to Sweet Baby Inc.'s involvement within every single product that they've worked on being an absolute failure, all the way from Flintlock to Siege of Dawn to Warner Bros. Losing $200 million on their Suicide Squad game. And now we're having SBI's employee openly admitting that the goal and their objective is burning the games industry to the ground, and that they have been succeeding in creating terrible products, trying to introduce their narratives and agendas, which have failed countless of times. And this is what happens when you try to hire these types of people. When you try to hire these types of people that want inclusivity, want a good place to work at, these are the things that their minds are set on. And before we get into the article, please don't forget to subscribe, like or dislike. It doesn't matter. It helps with engagement, and I much appreciate it. Sweet Baby Inc. employee admits goal is burning the games industry to the ground. A Sweet Baby Inc. employee named Cameron Wild, who claims to be non-binary, wow, what a surprise, admitted that his goal is burning the games industry to the ground. In a presentation titled How to Get Away with Murder, Subverting Genre Expectations at the Game Developers of Color Expo, discovered by YouTube Kirsch, Wild introduces himself saying he is a narrative designer and sensitivity reader with a company called Sweet Baby Inc. Wild, who according to Moby Games, worked on Tales of Kenzera, Zao, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Alan Wake 2, The Crew, Motorfest, Kingdom 80s, and God of War Ragnarok, then declared the stories we tell each other are way more than entertainment. They're how we create debate and preserve our collective values and beliefs. And we can and should make better, more expensive, more representational content. You see, when you're having lead people within your company having these types of opinions that they should make more expensive and more representational content, you're going to continue to fail with every product that you continue to work on. Because a lot of the gamers, they want to have a good story, they want to have a good narrative and characters that they can at least relate to. When you're adding these unrelatable characters up front and center, no one's going to give a damn about them except more than likely dislike the game that you have worked on. And with SBI's already tainted name, they're already screwing themselves over. And I find it hard to believe that SBI's involvement within games such as God of War Ragnarok and even The Crew Motorfest or Alan Wake 2, which received a lot of praise, I find it extremely hard that they had any substantial part in working in on these games. Whereas with games such as Flintlock Siege of Dawn or even, I guess, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, with that Season 2 release with Mrs. Freeze, and I can't believe that game hasn't gone out of live service and it's still continuing on with their program. But these are the people that are representing these types of companies. These are the companies that hire these individuals because of their sexualities or because of what they believe in aligning within what the company believes in itself. No matter if the person is of competency, having enough work experience, or at least is smart enough to know what to state and say when they're in the public. But apparently, this person does not know that. Then, in a slide titled Cool, so why am I here? One of the bullet point states burning the games industry to the ground. And I don't care if this was a joke or not. If you're a professional and you're making a presentation live to other people, the last thing I would want to state is that when your company is known for creating terrible products and working and giving these woke consultancy ideas to the developing firms that are absolutely terrible, and it's also the developing firm's fault within going through on what the consultancy firm provided them on. In the next slide, so why am I still here? One of the bullet points states to prove that space where whiteness doesn't have to live is where some of the best stories are told. Wild explained that a lot of us who are really fighting for more inclusive games and storytelling don't have a choice when it comes to discomfort. A lot of us who are just existing don't have a choice, which makes this really hard often. But recently, I started realizing that discomfort or the place where whiteness doesn't have to live is where some of the best stories are told, and it's where genre storytelling lives. So it's okay for them to be racist. If a white person were to say this, I am telling you, they'd be out of a job in an instant. But because these people have all their DEI requirements on their checklist, they are protected in their own little bubble. And if a company were to do anything about it, you're going to again receive terrible PR. It will continue on later in the presentation. Wilde explains why Blazing Saddles is his favorite film. The reason why I love it beyond some truly Mel Brooksian slapstick humor and fart jokes, Blazing Saddles is extremely aware of social inequality and finds its humor in that darkness, which means I can laugh in a way that is cathartic. It's a movie that isn't making jokes about me, but for me. And I think that's really awesome because you can just tell in the text, but it's also a fact that Brooks worked with black writers to make sure that jokes came at the expense of whiteness and chipped away in an absurd social hierarchy. Is deliberately and unexpectedly a narrative that contributes to the liberation of people like me. It isn't respectful, it's offensive. But yeah, it offends the right people, which is to me the point of truly inclusive, intentional genre work. So this person likes content that attacks the opposite colored skin. These are the types of people, again, that these companies are hiring. And what does it say about these companies? That they hire people that are racist. This is blatantly racist when you are wanting to see your own race making fun of or making offensive jokes to the opposite race. What is that? That's probably racism, right? And this is viewed by a lot of companies and especially individuals, such as this person in this case, as being a social justice issue as well as liberation, as this person stated. In one ironic moment during the presentation, Wilde did share a nugget of truth. Ultimately, if you're telling a story that misses its audience, that doesn't ring true, or fails to cut in the right direction, the problem isn't that it's just insensitive, the problem is it's bad. However, he then points to Django Unchained being an example of this while explaining his point of view. Wilde stated, so a context-free version of art is supposed to make people uncomfortable. As an auteur, Quentin Tarantino feels like someone who grasps after edginess when they don't really have any human tragedy to explore the depths of. They don't understand that growth comes from trauma, sure, but it also comes from joy. He holds a no pain, no gain mentality that I think is unshakably rooted in white supremacist patriarchal values, Wilde asserted. I'm telling you, these words have little to no meaning in today's day and age because of how frequently they are used. And I want to go back up to this point right here where he says that if your product is bad, then you have failed. That's what SBI has been doing with every product that they've worked on. They have failed countless of times. And the only thing that they have to show for is games such as God of War, Ragnarok, or Alan Wake 2, which did receive a lot of critical praise, but it didn't end up making its money back. And hey, at the end of the day, at least we are knowing that some of the lead people within SBI know what a failure is, and hopefully acknowledge that a lot of the games that they are working on are complete failures when it comes to the developing firms implementing these terrible ideas that are coming out of this consultancy company. And it also shows you that these consultancy companies or corporations in general are hiring people that absolutely despise white people and want to have it their own way. It's absolutely insane to me that yet these people are able to hold their jobs and not lose it because, as I've said before, they have all of their checklist marked and are on the dot because of their little bubble when it comes to their protection. And with all that in mind, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.